Hi, I'm Joel.
And I'm Leah, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about the differences between an Australian accent and an English accent.
Before we start, don't forget to click subscribe. We post videos every single week.
And as an extra, Joel and I also post content every day on our Instagram page, so we're just linking those below, as well as our joint Instagram, where we often go live.
Yeah, which we did just this afternoon.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Very fun.
You're missing out.
If you're not following.
Yeah. Right, so we've had a few comments, not that many, but a few people saying that is our English accent the same as Australian accents? So we thought we'd do a video just to clear up the differences, because they are quite similar, but also they are very different.
So here are 4 differences that we've noticed from the Australian accent to the English accent, and this video is just an overview of these. It's not going into major detail. Please let us know if you would like that video in the comments below.
So the first difference of an Australian accent to an English one is something called alveolar flapping, which sounds rude.
Flap, the flapping.
The flap of the tongue. So there's more of a similarity to American English than it is to British English, because Australians tend to flap their T's and their D's. So in words like water, they'd say water. Instead of butter, they'd say butter.
Butter. Butter, water.
Ladder.
Ladder. Anything with a D.
Double
D.
Basically, but they still have the non-rhoticity that we have. So they don't say water. Americans say water, but they don't say water. They say water.
Water. Yes, so they're not emphasising the R on the end of words.
But how would we say it?
Water.
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 Butter.
Butter.
Butter. Water.
And it would only be in slang English that we might say water or butter.
Yeah.
Butter, water.
But then that's even slightly different, because that one with London, where they say butter, that's a glottal stop, so they're saying butter, which is different to the flap of the tongue when you say butter.
Butter. It is different, isn't it?
Different,
it's very different. Well noticed, Joel.
Thank you.
Well noticed. So worth listening out for that flap.
Yeah.
What's the complex word?
It's alveolar.
Doesn't that sound
if you want
a
the long
like...
word, it's intervocalic alveolar flap.
So that's what you'll probably get. That's what you'll probably get if you're listening to an audio book about language.
Yeah, what does that mean to you? You
nothing.
Don't need to know that.
It means nothing.
Just call it a flap. It's fine.
Just a flap is fine. Let's just all remember our flaps.
Yeah. Number 1, flap. We've talked a little bit about rhoticity, but mainly flap.
So linking on from the flap, which is number 1, we're going to talk a little bit about rhoticity, which is number 2. So as we mentioned, Australians don't have the rhotic R, which means that at the end of words that end in ER, they'll just drop it and leave it open, like we said with water, teacher, water, teacher, letter. Similar to British, but very different to American.
And that is, like you said, it's very similar to British, and that's probably one of the reasons why people get confused between Australian English and British English, is because we both sound non-rhotic. So to an American's ear, they're thinking, oh, you're just all part of the same thing. But that's just one feature that we share with Australians. It's not...
And as a Brit, do you feel that Australians sound closer to us than Americans? Because I do.
Do you? Yeah, I think so. In my head, you've got British English speakers here, and you've got American English speakers here, and Australians are in the middle. I think we share similar features, because the flapping is it's a very American feature, yet the non-rhoticity is a very British feature. So I feel like they are in the middle.
Yeah, it's about right. Yeah. And there's so many Australians in London as well, that it becomes so much, you just hear it all the time.
We haven't actually given them an example of what it sounds like. Maybe we need to talk a bit in Australian.
In Australian? Joel watches a lot of Neighbours. So...
I love Neighbours, and I watch it all the time. And, well, I don't watch it so much anymore because I ran out of time, because it's 20 minutes a day, and that's like so hard to keep up with.
But if you think about it secretly, Joel, we have been watching 1 hour a day of Love Island.
Love Island!
Love Island is taking over our life.
Like, seriously.
So let's move on. So that's just a little snippet of us trying out Australian. Obviously we're not experts, but this is just because there's so many Australians in London, we hear it quite a lot.
Definitely. And you do, like every accent, you get extremes and non-extremes. You'll find some Australians have a very subtle accent, whereas others will be really harsh. So obviously this Australian accent we're doing can't represent the whole of the country.
Our friend Trent from Trent and Luke lives over here in London, and I can't even hear it now.
No, just occasionally you'll hear a elongated vowel and you'll go,
oh,
he's Australian.
So that's our third point, the elongated vowel.
Yeah.
Obviously, like Joel said, it can be a little bit stereotypical to assume that every Australian says their words quite extended with the vowel sounds.
And that's done by widening the mouth, but see, they don't talk like that. They're not slow and they don't elongate it like that much, but they extend it more than we would in our accent.
So we might say my life story, and an Australian might say my life story.
So you see,
I think already that sounds a bit extended.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? My life story.
My life story. And when you do say your vowels so extended, the words become clearer and they land on people.
Yeah.
Australians are great public speakers, I think.
Yeah.
The words really land on people.
I love it. I read an article recently that was saying that Australian accent's great on them. I don't think it does at all. I think it's a really nice, soothing accent. And I like you said, I think I automatically listen more when it's an Australian speaking, because, they land it more. And,
exactly.
I like it.
As well as elongating the vowel sounds, Australians tend to have quite a sing-songy rhythm to the way they speak.
Yeah, and they tend to end on a rising intonation. So I think it's called, I can't remember, it's from my linguistic days at university, something like Australian rising intonation. I think it's called ARI, I might be getting it wrong. Anyway, Australians tend to have constant rising intonation even when they're not asking questions. So like they'll always talk like this when they're not even asking questions. And like that is very overdone stereotype.
Yeah.
But that's the sort of thing they'll do.
And that is perhaps what the article you read was referring to when it said that the accent grates on them a little bit.
Yeah, because we tend to end on a minor note, don't we? We end
Brits
down.
Always go down. Oh my god.
Where they go, oh my god. Yeah, oh my god. Like it goes up. And it's quite sing-songy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite up and down, like Welsh sing-songy.
They go up and down when they're talking like this, and they're really colourful with what they're saying.
If you were to sort of draw a graph of where the vocal tones are going, be like, up and down.
Yeah. And one of the final things to note is the abbreviations that they use are different to the abbreviations that we use in British English.
Now this is my favourite thing that I'm actually not aware of until we were just planning this video 5 minutes ago.
So, I can't believe you haven't heard it, but that's probably because I watch Australian soaps and stuff.
Yes.
But so, instead of saying this afternoon, they might say that, but they'll also say the Savo. So they abbreviate this afternoon to the Savo. ARVO.
Sounds so posh. You can just imagine a Brit saying the Savo. What do you mean the Savo?
It's what such rah-rah like Sloane Square posh people would say.
Exactly
The Savo.
It's so funny.
Yeah. But they'd be like, what are you doing the Savo? And then they also, I've not heard this one, but I saw it online, bizzo instead of business. So it'd be like, it's none of your bizzo.
Business?
I have never heard anyone at Neighbours use the word bizzo for business. Independent bizzo woman.
I'm an independent bizzo woman.
So Trent, if you're watching this, can you let us know whether you actually say bizzo?
I'm going to ask our Australian friends how true that is, and if it's like, oh yeah, only lame people would say that.
And but also, you know this one, instead of barbecue, they'd say barbie.
Oh yeah.
Shrimp on the barbie, that's the classic.
The classic Australian stereotype.
But they say barbie instead of barbecue.
Barbie. I can't say that without thinking of Barbie dolls.
Yeah, me neither.
So the Barbie. That's our sort of 4 main differences that we can think of off the bat about the differences between Australian and English dialect.
I really love doing this video. If you want us to do another in-depth Australian one, let us know, because I love the Australian accent.
Oh,
we used to do it all the time, didn't we?
We did.
We constantly
all the time. We used to refer to each other as cousins.
Yeah, hello cousin.
Hello cousin. We used to do Australian all the time.
Now it's Essex. We just do Essex.
We're a joke.
We are.
Let's do our outro in Australian.
Okay, let's start
do
again. 1, 2, 3.
So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to be notified when we upload, you can just press the bell button. Super easy.
Yeah, and don't forget before you go to click on the link in the description. We've now got a Patreon page. Can you believe it?
Patreon is amazing. It's basically a service where you can tip us as creators for all the amazing stuff that we bring to your screen.
And in return for that, we'll give you rewards like a Skype session with us or a wristband we'll send you in the post.
Or a personalised letter.
Yeah,
Letter.
Letter. Yeah, well done.
Oh my god, doesn't doing this accent just give you so much energy?
I know, you're like, come on guys.
Like, come on, let's take
we
this
can do this
thing down.
So don't forget to go and click that if you're interested. If not, just click the thumbs up and we'll see you next week.
Speak soon.
Bye. Good day.
Back to our normal self.
Back to normal.
Goodbye.
Exhausting. I need a rest.
Done.